What a defining moment this is, celebrating 15 years after ushering in a new constitutional dispensation. On 27th of October 2010, at a time like now, a big crowd gathered at Uhuru Park, filled with hope that a new dawn had come. They cheered and danced, broke into jubilation as the then president, the late Honorable Mwai Kibaki, appended his signature to a new constitution in a historic gesture. He lifted it up and paraded it to a joyful crowd. And so the journey began, a journey of hope, a journey of reforms, policy, legal, institutional, and administrative, a governance shift from a centralized to a devolved system, from one house to a bicameral parliament, a progressive chapter, the Bills of Rights, entrenching political, civil, cultural, and socio-economic rights, a constitution that decrees us all on transparency, accountability, participation of the people, decision-making, inclusiveness, equality, and national unity. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most radical shifts in governance the world has ever seen was brought in by that new constitution 2010, the 27th of August that year. Devolution, which established 2 levels of government. That's why at the Council of Governors, we have a motto or a tagline that states 48 governments and 1 nation. Article 6.2 sums it all up for us, that governments are at the national and county levels, and they are distinct and interdependent, and shall conduct their mutual relations on the basis of consultation and cooperation. Article 174 of the Constitution captures the objects, the purpose of devolution very succinctly. Devolution is not only concerned with economic development, it was meant to foster also national unity, democratic and political inclusion, and facilitate the decentralization of power, responsibilities, and resources, all aimed at bringing decision-making and services closer to the people. Devolution, as I've said in many forums, is indeed the truest definition of bottom-up social, economic, and political transformation. And in a summarized way, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Kenya has recorded notable improvements in all sectors that are devolved, including health, pre-primary education, agriculture, livestock development, water, roads, environment, climate action, trade, and cooperatives. For instance, just a case in point, there wasn't a single pre-primary school teacher on the payroll of national government in 2013. And currently, the payroll of county governments, there are over 50,000 pre-primary teachers. And the same can be said of all sectors that are devolved. We also celebrate the fulfillment of the not more than 2/3 gender rule in all our county assemblies, unlike in the national parliament, and in our county executive committees. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Devolution has done its bit and continues to do its bit in bridging the tale of 2 Kenyas. As we celebrate Katiba Day today, this commemoration comes at a time when the nation is openly discussing the very challenges that led to the Constitution. Therefore, these demands that have been made are not new. They are the very promises of our Constitution. In fact, the socio-economic and environmental challenges that we have, in our view, at the Council, would have been worse without devolution. They would have been worse without Constitution 2010. We therefore must jealously guard this Constitution, including devolution and devolved governments. As county governments, we continue to aspire and to promise the nation that we will do our best to attain the highest standards of effectiveness. Your Excellency, in a summarized way, from the perspective of the county governments, through the COG, yes, devolution has done a lot. Yes, it has challenges. It's confronted by a number of challenges, including but not limited to administrative clawbacks, lack of uniformity in the application of the law, should I call it prejudice, by some oversight organs and some independent offices, inadequate resources, and delay in financing. We also have issues of the existence of subsidiary legislation and policies that predate the Constitution, not to mention the supremacy battles between the organs created by this very Constitution. In order to strengthen devolved governments, the following bold and strategic actions must be taken. Fast track the transfer of all functions and the attendant resources pursuant to the completion of the unbundling of functions. Urgently undertake policy and legal reforms to align them with the Constitution, considering that devolution is now a reality. Increase the equitable share to the county governments to enable them perform their functions optimally and ensure timely disbursements. Strengthen intergovernmental relations, galvanize the support of development partners and the private sector and the civil society so that we share the promise of devolution is as captured in our Constitution. Your Excellency, part of what we suffer here is also a bit of stereotype. As devolved units, my sister, the AG, that I really respect, referred to audit queries that say there's a lot of waste in counties. I haven't seen any audit queries that say there's more waste in counties than in the national government. I think that's part of the stereotype that we deal with as counties. I think I would really want to see that report and share it with the governors. As I conclude, I leave you on this reflective note, that we should ask ourselves today, are we living to the ideals of our Constitution? When we meet here again, inshallah, in 15 years, will we still be confronted by the headlines of today? From today, let's all of us, because it's leaders of this country that are seated in here, and we're all leaders. We've been told it's not only the president that we should be pointing fingers at, we're all leaders in our own right. Let's all become champions of our Constitution, from our homes, to our churches, to our mosques, to our temples and shrines, and to our offices. And let's all recognize that devolution is indeed one of our national values. I thank you all, and God bless you.